We also want to touch on some of the biggest IPOs that will be opening up for the retail sector very, very shortly. The 5 biggest IPOs that we're tracking. Suyash has the details. Suyash?
Yes, Shweta. So we have a flurry of main board listings recently, and to really appreciate that, I mean, if you look at the first half of 2023, Shweta, we only saw about 10 or so IPOs hitting the main board. In November alone, 8 IPOs, including the 5 coming out this week, there are 8 IPOs that will already, have hit the streets. Just look at that graphic if you can pull it up for our viewers. 0 IPOs in January, February. It picked up. September, I think, was the busiest month for the primary market. 14 listings came out in the month of September. November is turning out to be the second busiest with 8 already so far. I mean, let's see how many come out in the next week. But overall, it's been the activity in the primary market has clearly picked up in H2 of 2023. Now, as you pointed out, 5 IPOs will come out, 5 companies will come out with their IPOs, which include India Renewable Energy Development Agency, also known as IREDA, which will open for subscription on November 21st and close on November 23rd. Another is Tata Technologies, opens on November 22 till November 24. The rest, all companies open from November 22 to November 24. You can see all the names that will come out with their IPOs: IREDA, Tata Tech, Flair Writing, Gandhar Oil Refinery, and Fed Bank Financial Services.
All right, let's quickly get into the details of Tata Tech and mega offering, initial public offering from the Tata stable. What do we know so far? What are you picking up?
Certainly, Shweta. So the IPO first, I think, to really appreciate the Tata Tech IPO, is the first IPO from the Tata Group in nearly 20 years. The last time they came out with an IPO was back in 2004 when they came out with the public offering of TCS. Now this is the first, as I mentioned, first public offer in 20 years. The entire IPO size is of about 3,042 crore rupees. The IPO, as we know, will open on November 22nd and close on November 24th. One of the things that I think we need to point out to the investors is that it's an entire offer for sale, meaning that existing shareholders will be selling their stake, and there will be no fresh equity of share, and the price band for the issue, Shweta, has been fixed at around 475 to 500 rupees per share, which interestingly was about 250 to 300 points shy of the grey market price that was the market was pegging at for the Tata Tech stock. Now, sir, I mean, a lot of big companies have come out with their IPOs, in 2023 alone. Cyient comes to mind. It came out with an IPO after nearly 26 years. TVS was another one that came out with their IPO. Now Tata Technologies. What do you think are the factors leading to these long-standing big companies coming out with a public issue in 2023?
See, I mean, end of the day, they also need to, have liquidity. They need to have sort of a market cap, because this has been a company which has been a subsidiary of Tata Motors for ages. And like you rightly said, this is the first IPO in the last 20 years from the Tata stable. And I think the valuations are decent. So from that point of view, I think it's a great opportunity for the investors to subscribe to this IPO.
I mean, if you keep aside the Tata pedigree, the Tata name, is it a good business to buy into?
Yeah, it is a good business to buy into. I mean, looking at the sort of order flows which are there for this company, I think it's a good opportunity for people to invest.
So another company, the big company that will come out with their IPO is IREDA, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency. The IPO opens on November 21st, and this will be the first issue from government after LIC back in May 2022.
Okay.
Now the price band for the issue has been set at around 30 to 32 rupees, and at the upper band of the price band, the company is looking to raise somewhere around 2,150 crore rupees. Now the IPO comprises of both fresh issue of shares and offer for sale. Fresh issue is about 60% of the entire IPO, whereas offer for sale is at about 40%.
All right, let's also get in Ambareesh into the conversation then. Ambareesh, IREDA, what are you making of the price band? Is it attractive enough for retail investors?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I think the price band is quite attractive for the retail investors. And just like Tata Technologies, I think this is the other good opportunity for the investors to get in. Like among the five IPOs which are there, I mean, my top pick clearly is Tata Technologies, followed by IREDA.
Okay, let's also then quickly get into Flair Writing Industries. It's also coming out with its initial public offering.
Yes,
Suyash.
Shweta. So again, along with all the four IPOs apart from IREDA will open from November 22 to November 24. So is Flair Writing Industries. The price band for that has been set at around 288 to 204 rupees a share. Now the Mumbai-based stationery product company will aim to raise about 593 crore at the upper band of its price band, and it's again both an offer for sale and a fresh issue of shares, whereas the company will issue shares worth 292 crores fresh issuance, and offer for sale is about 301 crore rupees. Now the anchor book for the IPO will open actually for all will be all four excluding IREDA will be open on November 21, just a day before the public issue is open for subscription.
Ambareesh, your take on Flair Writing?
Flair writing, I mean, although if you look, I mean, from a writing instrument perspective, they have a 9% market share. They've got into other household items. But then, I mean, it is not as attractive as the first two IPOs I discussed about. But then again, it is not too expensive. So if you, I mean, if you, like from a pecking order, I would say this is number 5 among all the 5 IPOs.
Okay, I'm assuming Gandharv Oil Refinery is number 4 then.
Absolutely.
All right, let's discuss financials for that.
No, in fact, Gandhar is number 3.
Okay, so Fed Bank financials, and let's quickly get in Fed Bank financials. What details do we have?
Surely, Shweta. So again, IPO opens for subscription between November 22 to November 24. The IPO size at the upper band, upper band of the price band of about 133 to 140 rupees is around 1092 crore rupees. Again, this is an offer for sale as well as a fresh issue, and the promoter bank, Federal Bank, along with investors True North Fund, are the selling shareholders in this case. The anchor book, as I mentioned earlier, will open for subscription on November 21st for this particular issue.
All right, how are you deciding that pecking order? Ambareesh, Fed Bank at number 3?
Fed Bank at number 4, Gandhar at number
4?
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and how are you deciding that pecking order? What are you making of the business?
I mean, clearly, that's based on the sort of valuations which are there. I mean, at what rate we are. I mean, this is being offered. So based on that, I have fixed this sort of pecking order.
And sir, considering the number of IPOs that are coming out in the latter half of 2023, what's your overall checklist as far as before you consider before investing in an IPO? I think that will be very valuable for a retail investor.
So, I mean, clearly one has to see as to from which stable it is coming, as to how dependable the promoters are. I think that's most important. Number 2 is the sector and the outlook for the sector. Number 3, the valuations at which they are offering, because if the first two are great and the valuations are just too expensive, again, I won't recommend, buying into the IPO, because they need to leave something on the table for the investors.